Hey there, welcome back friends. In this video we will talk about dependency injection. Now dependency injection is definitely one of the core feature when it comes to Spring. So let's get started. Now friends, first of all, let us quickly rename this project. That would be good. The name will be dependency injection. Let me continue. Alright, this looks good. Now, in order to understand dependency injection, let us quickly create a very simple example. So in here, first of all, we would be creating a new interface. The package would be org.steadyeasy.interfaces maybe. Here we go. Let me give the name as car. Now inside this car interface, we will be creating a very simple, method. As of now, we will return a string. This is a bad idea to return a string, but we will return a string as of now, and the name would be specs. Here we go, and that's it. So now we have an interface with one method by the name of specs. All right, now let us create a class. Here we go, and now this class would be, for example, Swift. Alright, so this is a name of a car, and this will contain nothing, but we will implement the interface car. So let me search car from here. Let me make use of it. Let me click on finish. Cool enough. Let me do one thing. Indeed, I have made a mistake in here. Let me create a new package by the name of org.steadyeasy.cars, and now let me shift Swift to cars. Alright, now inside this car package we would be adding a yet another class by the name of Corolla. Here we go. Again we will add the interface car. This looks good. Let me click on finish. Alright, now let me quickly return a sample string. It would be like hatchback from Suzuki. Very simple. Let me get rid of this auto generated stub, and for Corolla it would be like sedan from Toyota. Good enough. All right, and now let us finally create a app. So in here we would be creating a new class. The name of the class would be app, and it would be inside our org.steadyeasy package. It will also contain the main method. All right, let me get rid of the auto generated stub, and now we will be making use of the car interface, and we will be creating two objects, namely Swift equals new Swift. Here we go, and let me add in the required package real quick, and now let us create a yet another object by the name of Corolla equals new Corolla. This looks good to me, and now using these two objects we can call in the specs method. Alright, so in here what we can do, we can type in Swift dot specs and Corolla dot specs. This looks good, and we will definitely make use of sysout in here. Sysout in here, and we will call in the method inside the sysout like this. All right, and we will do the same in here. Let me quickly do that. Here we go. Here we go. And now finally let us run the app, and we will be easily see that we are getting the output. Now till now there is nothing which we have done related to for example Spring, But for example, in here we wish to display only one information, and that information is based on my personal car. So for example, in here let me create a yet another car object like my car equals new Swift, for example. And now let us display the information as my car dot get specs. Alright, let me run this and we will get hatchback from Suzuki once again. So here are the outputs. Now friends, the most important part in here is whenever we wish to create or whenever we wish to call in these methods, we have to create object of that specific class. Now this thing is very important, take a note of it. Now for example, we want to create a component based programming where component will play a very important role. For example, my car is a component, and this particular my car object can contain any type of car, maybe Swift, may it be Corolla. Now in here currently, whenever for example we wish to call in the method from this particular class Corolla, we have to make changes in our code itself, right? So we have to call in the constructor from the Corolla class, then only we will able to check the change in the output, right? So in these kind of scenario where we are making use of the core object oriented methodology, we have to create objects, and using the object we are calling in the methods. This is cool, but this is not component based. We cannot change the object in runtime, or we cannot change in fact the object based on our requirement. We have to make changes in the code directly. So take a note of it. When it comes to dependency injection, indeed we can inject different type of object based on our requirement. So moving forward, let me show you how that can be done, and how by taking help of name of the component we can change the object, and we will be able to see this. So in order to do that, we have something known as annotation configuration. So it would be like annotation config application context. This is a Spring class. Let me show you. The name of this object would be context equals annotation config application context, and let me give the name as app config dot class. Now this particular class is not available to us. Let us check how we can do that. So in here we will hover upon this and we will create a app config. Now this app config is fairly straightforward. This will specify a Spring that we are willing to create a component based programming, and we need to scan a certain package. So now in order to mark this class as a configuration class, first of all we will make use of this annotation configuration, and in order to what we say tell Spring that which package Spring needs to scan, we will make use of component scan. So in here there is something known as component scan, and in here we will simply specify the package which is org.steady-easy. Alright, so now Spring will do what? Spring will initialize itself by taking help of this configuration annotation, and then it will also scan the org.steady-easy packages for different type of annotations and configuration, and Spring will bootload and Spring will come into live. So in here let us move forward and let me show you usage of a Spring. And indeed in here I had made a mistake. We have missed the new keyword, and now using this context we will do these two steps. So in here let me comment these two lines as of now, and in here we will say what it would be like car, my car equals. Now this time we won't make use of the Swift object, rather we will use this context object. So it would be like context dot get bean. All right, and in here definitely we have to give a class, and this class would be based on this interface, which is car.class. So let me make use of it, car.class. That's it. And we need to also close the context, so let us quickly do that first of all. And in between these two lines we will do what? My car dot specs. Now friends, as of now in here there would be a crash. Let me show you. As of now we have did couple of things, but not exactly all the things. So in here if we run this, there would be a crash. Let me show you. It will say no such bean definition, no qualifying bean or type, org.studyeasy.interfaces.car available. So there are a couple of more configuration which we need to do. As of now, if we currently check this code, in here we have given that we will need a bean of car type, but we don't know what exact bean which we need. Now a bean is nothing but a object of car type, because in here we have given the class as car. But what is a car? Car is an interface, and definitely a interface can be implemented by multiple classes, and we can have a car object of type Swift or Corolla in here. So definitely there would be a confusion. As a result, we won't be able to execute these 3 lines of code. There would be a crash, and which is valid. Now apart from this, in order to mark a object, in order to mark a class as a bean, we have to do something special. Let me show you. So in here, for example, on this Swift class, if we make use of this component annotation, then only Spring will consider this as a bean. Now as there is only one class which is implementing the car interface, will our application run? Let me run this, and here is the output. Definitely we are able to see that we are able to run our application. Definitely the output is from these 2 lines, and we need to print the output. Let me quickly do that. Here we go. Let me rerun. Here we go. So we are able to execute our application. Why? Because there is only one bean, only one component. Now friends, component based programming is where we can replace something with something else very easily. We can develop one application, and we can distribute it to different places, and based on our requirement we can remove and add components, and that's the power of Spring. Now definitely dependency injection is one of the many features of Spring. There are many more things, so this is only one thing. There are many more things which we will again see in our forthcoming videos. We will also try to touch on Spring Boot. Alright, so in here, as there is only one component in our entire application, as a result there is no issue and our app is working properly. But for example, I copy this annotation and I also add this on this class which is Corolla, and now I try to rerun this application. There would be a crash. It will say no qualifying bean of type org.studyeasy.interfaces.car available, expected single matching bean but found 2, right? Corolla and Swift. Now what is the solution? We can again give the name. So for example, in here I give the name as Swift in here, and save the changes, and I do the same in here as Corolla. Now take a note of it. all the letters are in lowercase. So take a note of it. Alright, now again coming to the application. Apart from the bean type, which is car.class, we can also give the name in here. So this get bean is a overloaded method, and in here we can again give the name as a Swift, and let me run this, and this will give us hatchback from Suzuki. We can give the name as Corolla again this will give us sedan from Toyota. Now the interesting thing is, even if we remove the name in here, will it work with the name as Corolla? Let me show you. Well, this works. Why? Because this component scan has the default name again. So whatever be the class name, same will be the name of the component with all letters in a lowercase. So if we give this Swift all letters in a lowercase, this makes no difference, and this Swift is the default name of component. All right, and let me rerun the app. Our application will still work. Now finally, before ending this video, let me quickly show you, if we give a custom name to a component, then what happens. Like my Corolla, like this, and now we try to run this application, then there would be a crash, because now no bean named Corolla available, right? So if we are giving a custom name, in that case we have to make use of that name only. Let me run this, and here is the output. Alright, so this was a very quick take on dependency injection, and in our next video we will again dig more into dependency injection. That would be interesting. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.